So remote ID final ruling rolls out. Coming right up. What's up, all you drone mayonnaise out there? Welcome back to Drone Logic for your drone and tech related info from my point of view. So we know that the FAA rolled out the final remote ID ruling, and it was done in a 400-page document, which I didn't read, but I've listened to other people speak on it, and from what I can see, I don't necessarily disagree with remote ID. As so many people been saying, you have to have if you want to fly recreate, you want to fly as a licensed pilot, you have to take a test, the Part 107 test. You also have to take a test to be able to drive a vehicle, and you also have to have your car labeled by a license plate that's unique to you, right? So I don't have a problem with remote ID. Again, we have to maintain integrity and safety when it comes down to flying drones, because I've often said all it takes is just one idiot, one fool to go do something stupid, and there goes the hobby. They're going to want to regulate up to wazoo. So I don't have a problem with remote ID. Now, after listening to other people and speak on those who've read it, it seems to me that there's some good with this proposal. Well, not proposal, but final ruling, and there's some bad. Now, the good is that the drones won't have to connect with no network. That's a good thing. So where it's going to work is that the drone itself is going to broadcast the information, the required information, your serial number, your registration number, the all the telemetry information, the location, height, speed, direction is going in. So I don't have a problem with that, but the fact that it does not have to connect to some network for now is a good thing. So the drone is just simply going to broadcast that out, and anybody who's in range of a drone can pull out their phone, their devices, and excuse me, they can get that information by looking at the app on their phone. So I don't have a problem with that at all. My only problem is that part of the information, and my biggest concern when I gave my response to the FAA when they were taking responses about this remote ID, my biggest concern was the location of the pilot being given allowed to be known by the public. That's my biggest problem, because it's clear to see the problems that can happen there. What if some person who is flying their drone and somebody pull out their phone, look where they are, and go rob them for an expensive drone? Because these drones aren't major expensive, but they're not cheap. If you're going to spend $1,000, $1,500, maybe $200 for a drone, that's not cheap. So people couldn't get wise to this, and they'll start robbing people. Now, the actual pilot location part of the ruling won't be known, but the takeoff location will be known. But then where's the pilot going to be? At the takeoff location. So it's kind of defeats the purpose. It's not like you take off, a pilot is going to take off their drone and then go drive somewhere else and have your drone up in the air while you're going somewhere else, wasting valuable time in the air. Who's going to do that? And then you can always adjust, the location, the return to home location, to where the pilot is. But then the question is, will that information go out, will that information be broadcast instead of just the takeoff location? Either way, I just think it's a bad idea to broadcast the location of the pilot. Maybe law enforcement officials, okay, but I just don't see that the public should know this information, because you're going to be putting pilots' lives in danger. So, they say that you have to maintain line of sight, and you have to, if you're the remote pilot command, you're the one and has to be in complete control of everything. Now you got to not only keep the drone in line of sight and keep an eye on your drone, but you got to keep an eye on your surroundings now, because some idiot can come rob you. So beyond that, I like I say, I'm not against remote ID. I just have an issue with knowing the location of the pilot or any area in general of the where the pilot will be by the general public. Now, the real elephant in the room, though, and something that I've been researching and I haven't found any evidence of, is will drones, current drones, able to be used? Because it says it's going to broadcast out, and I'm guessing over Wi-Fi, and will existing drones be able to be, be compliant with a firmware update? Because if they're already broadcasting over Wi-Fi, then I think that they should be able to do the same thing with a firmware update. Again, I'm no engineer, so I don't know the tech. Now, the FAA has given three options similar to what the proposal was. That, you have three options. You can either have a drone with the technology built into it to broadcast the information. That would be the standard option. And then you have the second option. This is if you install some type of module, which we're more than likely going to see if drones are not capable of doing the current drones. You have to put a modular on your drone to do the exact same thing. And the drone is supposedly not supposed to be able to take off until it connects with the modular, and the modular confirms that it's broadcasting. Now, the third option would be private special areas that's set aside for flying clubs, and the FAA is supposed to expand that, the expanding number of sites. But the idea of only being able to fly at a site is actually kind of defeat the purpose of a content creator. The whole purpose of content creation is you go to random places safely and get footage and video. It's kind of like on the whim, and sometimes that's the best footage that you get. But it's kind of hard to be creative if you're flying at the same places. Anyway, like I said, only time will tell where this thing completely goes. But so far, not really disappointed with remote ID. I don't have a problem with drones being identified with their own, quote unquote license plate that people can see and check. But I have it's such a huge issue and concern with the location of the pilot or the takeoff location being known. Beyond that, like I say, again, we also have to keep in mind that things could change. It could be later on that, well, now the drones have to be part of a network. But as of right now, no network, so that's good. And the only time we tell. Now we have, as pilots, I think it's going to roll out sometime in 2003. So we have 2 years, and by then, most people would have decided, well, I'm gonna just go ahead and update to a drone that's already compliant. But anyway, only time will tell. We just have to see where this goes. That's my 2 cents on the final remote ID ruling, and so this is what we got, and that's what we have to live with. But always, y'all, as always, until next time.